Well, good evening, everyone. I trust we are being recorded. So I will begin. This evening, we will be covering the first of the spiritual laws, which is the law of attraction, as well as some other items I feel fit into the category of mindfulness. But I'll start with a piece like I do each week. Would you be more careful of what you think and say and do if every thought would demonstrate an impact on your life? Would you monitor what goes on or into your mind? Would you exercise quality control of all your ideas? There is a mental law that exists that is every bit as real as the laws of gravity and electricity and other scientific and mechanical laws. It's an immutable law of nature and self-fulfilling prophecy. Its thought attracts to you that which you mentally embody. You are surrounded by a thought atmosphere, which is the result of your thinking, and is either attracting or repelling, and it is always working. Whether you choose to accept this or not doesn't matter. What does matter is that you can work this law, and you can use it to demonstrate your heart's desire or to bring you misery and unhappiness. If you constantly think of lack of money or success, if you think you're unhappy, think again. You are none of these things, except by right of your own consciousness, your thinking. You are a mighty moving power with unlimited potential. You are a success machine. Do not think of anything you do not wish to experience. Ernest Holmes said, the power of right thinking cancels and erases everything that is unlike itself. Live through your dreams and your imagination, not through your memory. Harboring resentment is ruination. If you nurse it and curse it, you rehearse it, you're attracting the same old thing, and the progress of a brighter future goes dim. It has been said, this moment is your life. Your future is creating itself from what you're thinking at this moment. Remember, the law is always working, attracting, repelling. Which way it works is entirely up to you. 3 more questions. Would you like to control your life? Would you like to improve your life? Would you like to be the victor instead of the victim and live happily ever answer? If your answer is yes, yes, and yes, then my final answer cannot change your life. Namaste. There you pretty much have it. The law of attraction, very simply, it's stated, and I will read it a different way, but it will mean the same exact thing. What you think about, you bring about. You are the sum total of your choices, as you have always been in your entire life. The sad part of the spiritual laws is the moment of birth, we moved further away from our spirituality as we started to become involved in the process of being a human. And we were exposed to thousands of ideas and different people, each one clearly representing what they thought were proper ideas. And you being very innocent at that time, you absorbed a great deal of it and it became part of you. But all along, most of what we were taught was how to be a human and how to deal with humanity and how to get along with other people. But very little was told to you that this law of attraction not only exists, but it exists whether you had knowledge of it or not. You've been using it your entire life. Remember what we originally started this series with, a few comments from the Bible. The Creator told Adam, whatever you name it, that is what it will be. Later on, Jesus, when he became the Christ, said, it is done unto you as you believe. Do you hear it? It is done unto you but only as you believe. And then, of course, Moses, I am that I am. When you use the words I am, you also become a creator. Now, Michael named this class, I do believe he did, yes, mindfulness and meditation. I think it would have been a little better served for me if it had been mindfulness and spiritual law. Meditation is a process by which we use spiritual laws to the benefit of ourselves and every other human being. So tonight I'm going to do something that's a little different. It may be a little annoying, but mindfulness takes place in three different categories: spiritual mindfulness, mind itself mindfulness, spirit, mind, and body mindfulness. This is going to be about you and I as human beings. And I took this set of questions once in my life and realized how frequently I was using the law of attraction incorrectly. So bear with me. There are a few of them. The first one is, do you believe that your mind is your own? Second, are you capable of a third, are you motivated from within rather than from without? 4, are you free from the need for approval? 5, do you set up your own rules of conduct for yourself? 6, are you free from the desire for justice and fairness? 7, 8, are you free from a doer rather than a critic? 10, do you welcome the unknown and change? 11, can you love yourself at all times? 12, have you eliminated all dependency relationships? Next, have you eliminated all blame and fault finding in your life? Next, are you free from feeling guilty? Just a few more. Are you able to avoid worrying about the future? Can you give and receive love? Can you avoid immobilizing anger in your life? Have you eliminated procrastination as a lifestyle? Have you learned to fail effectively? Can you appreciate and create humor? Are you treated by others the way you want to be? And last, are you motivated by your potential for growth rather than a need to repair and analyze all your deficiencies? I take no credit for this questionnaire. It comes out of a book by Wayne W. Dyer called Your Erroneous Zones. And he says on the cover, a step-by-step advice for escaping the trap of negative thinking and taking back the control of your life. Remember, over the past few weeks, I also presented a few other things, and one of them was a quote from Emerson. I believe it was in his essay on compensation, where he said very clearly that everyone's life, at some point, the process of returning to spirituality and your own life is unthinking all that you have in your mind. Unthinking. Another rule that I learned said there's only one thing in life that's fairly secure and certain, and that is change is inevitable. And I've learned that the reason for change is a stimulus to move us away from status quo, to get an opportunity with mindfulness to go and look at what we're doing each day, and then to analyze and ask ourselves, what was I not thankful for? Did I do anything to harm anyone? So one of the clever ways we get into deep trouble is our use of certain language. And if you recall, I said way back, stop using labels. So I printed out for myself, and like usual, I had it here before. And where did I go from there? Ah, yes, I have it. how you think of these words is vital to your life, because as you saw, wherever you are now was a result of the total of your choices. And words can be more than you think they are. And one of the first words I said to be very careful about, B-U-T, but. Doesn't sound too bad, does it? But let's put it this way. You now have a desire or a belief in something quite firmly. So you go and make it as a treatment. You make it a request, using it as a treatment. And then right behind it, you say, but. And then comes a list of the things that could disturb that treatment. Which do you think is going into the infinite mind that must respond to you? Do you believe the front part, or do you believe that everything after the but? Generally speaking, anything in after the but negates anything in front of it, and generally supports the negative instead of the positive. So watch where you put your buts. Another two that are, so many people, I say, how are you doing today? And get this response, and I'm sure we're all guilty of it somewhere. Here's the response. How are you doing today? Good so far. What does that imply? What is the stronger thought? Good so far, but I can't wait to see what's coming. That's the thought that goes into infinite. That isn't going to remain good. Something bad has got to come behind it, because you just can't tolerate too much good. So don't use the phrase good so far unless you want what's behind it to become your reality. Another word that's been preached and taught every religion that I was in and everything I studied was hope, H-O-P-E. Think about what it connotates. I hope I will get this, that, and that, and something else. I hope this will happen. I hope. What it is inferring is it will not happen, or it might not happen. But our treatment work says when we do treatment, we are of the belief it is already available and it will happen. So you can see how subtle some of these phrases and terms are. We don't mean anything bad by them, but we are implying that we don't anticipate it can happen. Another one, problem, P-R-O-B-L-E-M. If it's a problem, what is the assumption? Difficult, pressing on us. I don't know if I can solve it. But the truth is, there are no problems. There are life situations that are presented to us that require take our time and look them over and determine how can we alter and change the concept that it's a problem. It's a life change. It's just a life-changing possibility. Did you ever notice the longer you don't respond to the problem, the heavier it seems to get? See, so far, everything you heard, you think you were doing and doing it well, but now you realize on the other side of it, you are neutralizing the good and promoting the bad, because everything is mind. But mind, the infinite cannot separate it. It takes it as your strongest thought. Another one, failure and success. Well, if failure exists, then success might. If success exists, failure could, because they're direct opposites. But I told you there really are no failures and no successes. We are scientists. We call ourselves religious scientists. Scientists do not label failure or success. If the experiment they're conducting is not successful, they simply say, it didn't work. And they go back to their notes and they turn around and they try a different way, but they don't label it failure. You see, the experiments that don't work are prodding you to come up with better suggestion and answers. They are growth possibilities. So be very careful what you label failure or success, because what you call it is exactly what you must get, because the law is very exact. Can't. There's no such thing. There's nothing you can't do if you're in the correct frame of mind and you believe you're sick, very solidly connected to infinite mind, which created all things. And it said, I am that I am. That means anytime you go and use the phrase, you are using the power of creation to benefit you and all of mankind. So there isn't anything like can't unless you label it. The minute you say can't, whatever's on the other side becomes your reality. Another one, difficult. It's difficult because it's requiring, in most cases, change. And we really don't particularly like to change, because our habits are our creation and we're very comfortable with them. To motivate ourselves to change a habit requires some serious discipline. Plus, it requires to look at the habit and realize how it hasn't been beneficial to us, but it was just our comfort zone. So once again, it's not difficult. We make it difficult by saying it is. It's a test. It's a test to see how deeply you believe that you are the most powerful creative source in this universe. And that by going to it inside, instead of going to everything outside, you can create exactly what lifestyle you would prefer having. But put labels on it like that, and you make it impossible. Because infinite doesn't know what you want. It only knows what it thinks you want because you told it. And you have never been wrong. Like I said, no matter how you use it, the law is simple. Law doesn't care how you use it, because law is law. This law, the law of attraction, simply stated again, says whatever you think about must come about. Moses was told, what you name it is what it must become. Now can you look back and see to yourself how many times you thought you were using the law you didn't know or understand how to use to injure yourself, to make you less, rather than allow you the ability to understand how very powerful you are. Okay, here's a couple more that I would like to bring to your attention. Two words that are very destructive, particularly in relationships. I think these two words have created more divorces than any other two that I'm aware of. One is always, and the other is never. Those two words are used as control factors. If you use it, and I say, I've always done this, well then, once again, universal law must acknowledge that you've always done it, so you have to do it again. Now, if it's used the other way, when somebody is absolutely irritated or annoyed with you, they tell you, you always do this. You never do that. And then there's the cousins. You should have done it. You ought to have done it. You could have done it better. What a powerful set of 5 words that, without you realizing it, have probably controlled maybe 70% of every decision you ever made. Because you're a human, you'd like to be acknowledged, you like to be loved, you like to be told that you're a very good person. These are all words that negate that. And to the degree you accept it from whichever direction it's coming from, whether it be from others or yourself, it hasn't done anything good in your entire life. There are also words that are passing words, past. So what you're doing is you're thinking of the past, renewing the past, like it said, nursing it, rehearsing it, and accepting it again, and you can only get the same result. Someone who I can't remember once said, the definition of crazy is to do the same old thing, the same old way, another day, and accept the change in results. All those questions you asked are questions that should go and assist you and help you to arouse mindfulness on how you respond to any of them. It's significant. I got those at a point in my life when I was in a very bad place, where I didn't know anymore what to do. Even though I was very Catholic and I went away regularly to retreats, and all these things at this particular time just didn't come to my mind, because most of the time, all these things I was told I was a sinner, I committed mortal sins, I committed venial sins. I went to Mass every single day. In the middle of the Mass, we say, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. What do you think this reinforces? Do you now begin to understand just a little bit better the power of your thinking and the words you use? Like it stated in what I read today, would you be more careful of what you think and say and do if you knew every thought would demonstrate an impact on your life? Would you be more careful and monitor what goes on in your mind? Would you exercise quality control over your ideas? Well, there is a mental law that exists that is every bit as real as gravity and electricity and other scientific and mechanical laws. It is immutable. It is a law of nature and a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's the law of attraction, which states, your thought attracts to you to that which you mentally embody. And again, I remind you that you are the sum total of your choices throughout your entire life. That's where you are right now. Now, I'm going to call Joy here because I can't see anybody. There's a message on the screen. I don't know what it means. Eventually, I hope to understand and do this on my own. But Joy, if you hear me, could you help me for a moment? Did you hear me when I was speaking? Of course, I don't know. All that was not even heard. Okay. Michael,
Yes, I'm here.
did you hear everything I said?
Yes, sir.
All right, I
I'm
wasn't
here. I'm
sure.
listening.
Well, there was a message on there. Are you tired of doing 40-minute meetings and all kinds of choices?
No. 40 minutes is good.
So I didn't know what went through and what didn't.
Yeah.
But in any case, I trust most of what I said tonight you will consider. If you are a normal human being, you may not consider it, which is a choice. But I can assure you, if you choose not to take the tape that I know Michael makes for you for each week and not do it, it's a choice, and you'll continue using this magnificent law of attraction in ways that you don't realize are not supporting the beautiful human being and person you are. I read them regularly. And I first read them, I found out at about 20, I think, 10 of them I was working for. I had this vital need to be appreciated. I had this vital need to want people to like me. I was always looking outside for approval. It doesn't work. You will never get the satisfaction where you look is internally. This is where meditation comes in. We have suggested over the last weeks to give yourself at least 10 minutes to begin, to become quiet and start going to where your real answers are, which is in the infinite source of that which created you. It put these laws into action so that you don't require humanity to make laws. These are laws, like we said, they're immutable, they are natural law. And each one used with the proper understanding will change and alter your life in directions you can't even imagine possible. So look them over. If you didn't like them and you don't like me, I'm very sorry, but I am now, as a result of some of those, not particularly concerned who likes me and who doesn't. I present what is brought to my attention, and then I do the best I can because I'm human. But I would suggest, if you like it, then pick up the book by Wayne, middle initial W, Dyer, Dyer. It's called Your Erroneous, Erroneous Zones, because within it, he takes every one of those questions and shows us how in our very young lifetime to the day, to this very day today, we are controlled by those factors as they've been presented to us during our lifetime. The people who presented them meant well, but they could only come from one place, from where their heart and their mind is. I also learned something else when I was a practicing chiropractor. And if it comes back to mind right now, I'll let you know, because sometimes I have these momentary, I don't know what I call them. Down here, there's so many of us that call them senior moments. Oh, yes. It says, what you are speaks so loudly, I cannot hear a word you are saying. What image are you portraying to everyone external to you? If it is the proper image, it is your image alone, your feelings, your connection to the universal ideas that you're capable of having. They will like you because that's part of the law of attraction. Energy attracts like energy. Hear that clearly. Energy attracts like clearly. You will know people who truly like you, believe you, are happy to be part of your life. And you will also, because you have this knowledge, be exposed to the fakers, the frauds, to the people who try to use all of these phrases to make you come along with what they're thinking. Take back your life. It's yours. Make the changes you have to. There is nothing to be afraid of the unknown, because it's unknown. That's futuring. If you go back in the past, like we said, craziness is what? Repeating the same old things over and over again and again and expecting something to change. It cannot. It's the law. Only you have the power, the infinite power, to create your own life. Regretfully, most of us have been doing it without the knowledge of these laws. For the next 6 or 7 weeks, I will cover one law each week so that you can better understand how you may have misused it, or how you can better use it to go and bring the very things into your life you've been begging for and desiring from a God who couldn't give them to you because you didn't believe in them. Remember, it is done unto you as you believe. What are you believing? What are you thinking right now? It's incredibly significant because you are the person who's living it. You are the person who created it. And as a result, you are the person who can uncreate it. I really look forward to seeing how much of this challenge you're going to accept. Initially, when we started, I said I would recommend that every night to treat yourself, to look over your day and ask yourself, how many good things did I have today? And last week, I told you how you can do that and do it well. For example, when you put the key in your door, look at the key and realize how many millions of people don't have that. And particularly now when we just changed the law again after COVID and said that the mortgage companies could foreclose. Do you know how many hundreds of thousands of people within the next 30 days will be without a home? Just consider that. I told you, when you go to the car, I do, I pat it on the bumper and say, thank you for the prosperity that allowed me the privilege of having the car. When I get up in the morning, I say, thank you for the gift of life. There's three already, three right there, and the day hasn't even started yet. I look in the mirror and I thank the infinite for giving me the mind and the power to control what goes into my life by the knowledge I can use it. Then I go and do this. And I ask you, can you see what I'm doing? Have you helped yourself today? Did you get up with the idea that what wonderful things can happen to me today? During the day, that you make a friendly gesture towards every person that came into your life. Good morning. Have a day filled with wonder. Notice I don't say wonderful day. A day filled with wonder. On arising, you should anticipate something new, something wonderful can happen that day as a result of your thinking and your control. One of the questions was there, how do you control your anger? Anger is the most destructive, most highly negative emotion in existence. It fogs your mind, it messes up your choices, it makes enemies, and in many cases, angry enough, you'll do things that will land you in jail for a lifetime. Do you understand why I presented that? I trust you really do, because each of those is a very specific part of life choices. I wish you an awesome week, and I know it's going to be available to you if you choose to have it. My day today has been really good. I just liked every minute of it. Nothing negative came in to the best of my ability. I did all my thank yous as much as I could. Any person I met, I asked them, are you having an incredible day? Last thing I always said, have an amazing, wonderful life. And they look at me with puzzlement like I'm somewhat crazy. They should have a wonderful life, an amazing life. Are you part of that crowd? Or do you get up in the morning and say, another wonderful day? I can paint the canvas. I can make the painting. I can make the life I choose just by simply thinking in the proper manner, which is I am that I am. I am a creator by the language I use, by the attitudes I have. Remember, I told you, raise the altitude of your attitude. And God bless, and just have a fantastic week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Any questions, I'll give the best answer I can. If I can't give it now, I'll give it to you next week. Anybody? Michael, anybody? Hello? Am I off? But Michael's not answering.
Nobody have anything to say?
I asked a question.
All right, so if
Are they asking questions?
if
Hello.
you have questions, then we
Can you
can
hear
say
us?
thanks. Marge, you saying something?
Whoever was talking, that was her.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Hello,
Hello,
Erwin.
Matt. What's your question after 20 years of my teaching?
We have to apply it.
We have to apply it.
How do we apply it every day?
Every day.
Well, Madge, I know one thing you always told me year after year, as you were so kind to be present and support me, that you kept reading Science of Mind magazine.
Yes.
You kept reviewing your own treatments, and I assume that most of the time you're doing it, but like all of us, we get lazy, we slip, we don't want the discipline, we don't want to
Yeah.
change. But I'm pretty secure about you and your background.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be concerned. The same thing with Billy Boy.
Okay. We just have to get back into it.
Well, I'm glad you're here. We do this every
Awesome.
Thursday. Some of it may be a new way to present it, but most of it, the question is how much do you
Yeah.
use? And I know you use it well because you're still alive, you're still well. You've made plenty of changes.
Yes.
Hooray
Yes.
for you.
That's true. That's true. I keep changing continually.
Anyone else? By the way, these two are beautiful people.
You're a beautiful person.
Thank you, Billy, you liar.
Oh man, I love you.
He loves you. He does. He loves you. Mm.
Anyone else besides those two? Look, if you have questions.
I got something.
All right, 1 second. If you get the tape, like I know you get it every week, and you go over it and you have questions, please write them down. And I will, to the best of my ability, answer them from what I know. That's all I can do is give you what I've learned. So
Good.
think about that. Please write them down.
Okay, that's very good. I think we need to. We need to listen and then write them down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I got a question.
Yes,
The other day I was practicing Science of Mind
yes.
and I was real positive and it was a good morning. And just before my students walked into my class, there was a loud boom, like a bullet was shot out of a gun. And I was looking to see if I was hit. What had happened was my bulb burst into a million pieces of my overhead projector. And we have about 129 teachers. And I was the only one that happened to. And I was practicing Science of Mind. So what caused my bulb to burn out?
Ask Edison. He designed it for a certain amount of time. After that amount of time is over, it's time like to change your thinking. It's time to change your bulb.
It's trying to change the bulb.
Good answer.
Only answer I have, I just changed one 2 days ago, but it didn't explode. It just refused to light.
Well, that
So-
bulb cost $700.
But you can go, I'm glad you're prosperous enough to pay for it.
The school paid for it.
The school paid for it, thank God.
When that bulb did that, that was the time for you to say, thank you, that I'm prosperous enough to buy a new one. There you go.
That's true.
There you go.
That's so
Another
true.
chance for
So true.
affirmative prayer. Reinforce.
Yes.
Reinforce the good stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Reinforce all the good.
Actually, to be honest, I've been really happy the last couple of days because I got a new bulb.